Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. Welcome to Friday. I'm going to try to get my Instagram live set up. This is live on Instagram for those of you that are watching. Welcome to Massive Iron Live. We got 3 days till Santa comes. I hope you're on the nice list. I will be here for the next 2.5 hours, 1.5 hours, however long it lasts, however long you guys have questions and comments. So, before we get into things, just a reminder, I am here every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern, answering your questions. I want you guys to know that there are no dumb questions, no stupid questions. Don't feel like a question's been asked 1,000 times before. I am here to help. And somebody just sent me the Instagram. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Trying to watch us on, I just sent me a link to Instagram. Sorry. It says live unavailable. I'm not sure what happened. If somebody on Instagram that's watching can send me a link. Troy did it. Thank you, Troy. I appreciate it because I'm not sure what happened. Whoop, let me turn it down. We got it. We got myself on here. I got to monitor questions on here because it's a really weird setup. So anyway, welcome to Friday. I hope you guys had a great week. I got the gym all set up. We're training. We got in a chest workout. We got in a back workout. We got in some good work. And tonight I am going to be doing, what am I doing? I'm doing shoulders and then arms. Ben from Instagram said, bless up, boss man. Thank you, Ben. I'm going to be doing shoulders tonight and then arms tomorrow. So we're going to get after it. If your questions don't go through, just a reminder, it's not me throttling you or censoring you. It's just YouTube. So try to either shorten your question or rephrase your question. YouTube can be funny and how it censors words or filters words or whatever. Just a reminder, a couple housekeeping things. You can follow me on Instagram, @BenTheBarman. I'd love to connect with you. It's hard to follow every lifter, but if you send me a DM, I try to follow you guys back. And if you have any questions off the live, you can always hit me up on Instagram @BenTheBarman. Know as well that I have teammassiveiron.com. We have a large growing community. It's one of the better communities, lifting communities on the worldwide interwebs. Would love to have you as well. It's troll free. We don't do the religion talk. We don't do the politics talk. We just talk about lifting, and it's a good way to provide accountability, get some good accountability, and whatever. So please consider joining us at Team Massive. One more thing. I do have a coaching special going on now between now and the New Year's. That is $6.99 for a year of coaching. That's available for existing clients or for new clients. So if you're curious about the $6.99 deal, you can message me on Instagram @BenTheBarman or email me benthebarman@gmail.com. I can give you more information. Never any pressure. Pretty full right now. Those of you guys that didn't hear last week, I was voted Coach of the Year by Trainerize, the largest coaching app in the world. 400,000 coaches on there, and somehow I managed to take it home. I'm super excited about that. Completely in shock. They actually emailed me today to get my shirt size and address because they're sending some surprise things out to me for being Coach of the Year. So I can't wait to get that and share that with you guys. I don't know what you guys celebrate. One thing I will say before we get into the questions is that when I started a website, when I got into this industry almost 20 years ago, one thing I did not expect is to meet so many of you from all over the world. I didn't expect to have friends all over the world. I didn't expect to have clients all over the world. And I literally have clients everywhere, from Mexico to Canada to Australia to New Zealand to South Africa. We have members on Team Massive from Russia. I have a lot of clients from the Middle East and India, Singapore. Tim's from Singapore, I believe, all over the world. And it has given me the opportunity to expand my horizons, to get to know different cultures, different people. And it's been such a huge blessing. So it's one of the things I am thankful for, this holiday season. And wherever you're at, whatever you celebrate, one thing I can say is let's just all celebrate patience and kindness, being good to each other, and doing the fucking thing we love, which is lifting, right? Thank God we have some control over that. All right, let's get into things, guys. Let's roll on. Post up your questions. Don't be shy. Tim, how's it going? Tim, happy Friday. During my service, after the first 2 weeks, I think I can get back into the weekends. Would you even bother tracking? No. Tim's entering a military service. He's asking if you would bother tracking. I would just eat up. Like when I was in basic training, I was burning many calories, and I'm assuming it's going to be the same for you, Tim. So I would just get the giant shovel of doom and eat up, and I would train hard. I'd try to get in. I'd maybe do an upper one day, posterior the next, or whatever, vice versa. And I would try to maybe posterior, upper, and hit those calories. Advice on helping people close to you get healthier. This is a tough one. I'm going to finish reading the question and we'll dive into it. Someone really dear to me is pre-diabetic, and I wanted to help that. Here's the thing, Tim. All we can do is live our life and stay out of people's business, right? If we model a good life, that's like planting seeds. And we can hope they will ask us, for advice, for opinions. How do you do this? How do you do that? I'm really impressed. And that's the opportunity not to convert them, but just to kind of share what you've done and how you approach life and health and whatnot. It's not our job to convert people, right? We care about people. It's our job to love people. So I'm not saying you can't have these conversations ever, but we have to be really, really careful about trying to sound obnoxious. We have to love people. We have to care for people. And when they ask questions, those are opportunities to share more information. Does that make sense? All right, big hairy ugly dude. Have you worked with boxers or MMA? Oh yeah, absolutely. I have probably 10% of my clients right now are in the MMA world in varying degrees. We have guys on Team Massive that are clients that do martial arts. I have somebody that competes in England at a very high level that's been a client for about 3 or 4 years. So yeah, absolutely. What we do is, you want to focus on probably an upper posterior or something that some kind of an A-B split with flexible rest between days. So you can continue along the A-B type of programming and insert rest days as needed. If you're training for your sport 3 days a week, then training 3 days a week for lifting is probably your best path, but you can get away with 2. You can still get a lot of value out of 2. So you just have to structure things in a way that makes sense for your training. You have to understand that there's going to be about a month or so where you acclimate to the conditioning issues. And beyond that, you just have to sit through. You have to suck it the bleep up. So anyway, I want to mention to you guys before I get to the next question that this is my gym over here, and this is going to be my new filming desk. I'm going to be doing daily podcasts for about 15 minutes, 3 or 4 times a week to start my morning. Just topical stuff on a separate channel, just for fun. I need another outlet and need a little bit looser of a format. But I have somebody that's going to be coming in during the weekends, the holiday season, to set up lighting so it's not so ganky. Right now I have my monitor in front of me, and the bright white from the monitor just washes everything out and makes everything look really nappy. Okay, we got a question on Instagram. And if I missed your question on Instagram, please post up again. We got Coach Ben, Excline on. Is there a way to minimize arm size loss on a cut? You're not really going to lose arm. One of the big myths is that on a short-term cut, we're going to lose muscle mass, and this is way, way overblown. It's just, we're going to lose some glycogen. We're going to feel flat, but you're not going to lose muscle size on a cut, really. If it's an extended cut where you're going very, very deep into low body fat percentages, then potentially what you're going to experience is like a temporary loss of muscle glycogen. You're going to lose some fat. Your arm size might shrink just because you're losing fat, but you're not losing muscle size. When you get off the cut, muscle memory is real. Even if you would lose, a few grams of muscle, it's going to come back. We got a visitor in the studio. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. This is my dog. This is my dog. This is this is Chichi. This is Chichi Mango, buddy boy. He is my dog. He just simply follows me around everywhere. Loves me. My best friend. I don't know why. He just picked me as his human. I love you, Marango. How you doing? Thank you, buddy. But when he hears my voice down here, he likes to run down here and do his thing. We got one. I'll get back to the questions here. Forrest, this is dude from Instagram. You do any Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Last year, about this time, I was going to do some. I actually went to a studio, and I was going to do some. And a funny thing happened 2 days later. I was walking down the steps in my apartment, and I twisted my knee, and I was out for 6 to 8 months. I couldn't squat. I couldn't do any leg work. I could barely. It was swollen for like 6 to 8 months. Just a stupid old man injury. And wow, that took me out. But I am in a new city, Wilmington, Ohio. There's a martial arts studio here. I'm going to be starting it up either next week or in the new year. So I'm really excited about that. And let's see. Let me get back to the questions here. All right, Tim, I feel there's a lot of low-hanging fruit that can be snagged, and there's not a need for precise logging and tracking calories, yet the person is also not as adept with tech. I think he's talking about the person that he wants help with. You can be 80% of the way there, and sometimes little changes will really make a big difference. People don't necessarily have to. What we have to focus on if somebody's not in the best of health is taking care of themselves with food. That's a big thing. We want to get to the point where we're taking care of ourselves with food and exercise, not just logging calories, tracking calories, et cetera, et cetera. Does that make sense? How would you incorporate exercises for explosiveness and exercises for pure strength? Pure strength and pure muscle are basically the same thing. They're the same process, right? The biggest lifters the strongest lifters are usually the biggest lifters. Off-season strength building is basically off-season muscle building. Explosiveness, you're going to gain more explosiveness naturally over 2 to 5 years of compound movements. They're going to make you a faster sprinter, a better jumper. Your vertical leap's going to jump. Specialization beyond that, and I'm not saying that's the only thing you need, but specialization beyond that to increase your vertical leap or your sprint explosiveness, training for that is out of my pay grade. That's not my world in coaching or training. I just know personally that when you get stronger on, from head to toe, it's going to help with your vertical jump. It's going to help with your sprint speed. It helped with me. It helped with, generating bat speed. It helped with all kinds of things, right? Stein, happy Friday. Hope you all have a great Christmas. I hope everyone has a great Christmas, a great holiday season, whatever you celebrate. We all love each other, and let's just take care of each other and live in peace and stop all the hatred, right? No more hatred. None from me. How do you deal with injuries, both the practical and mental? It's hard. We can't live in a fairy tale and pretend they're never going to happen. If you train hard, you're going to pick up strains, you're going to pick up aches, you're going to pick up pains, and occasionally you're going to pick up some sort of an injury that's going to last a couple weeks or even a couple months. But you are far better off than the fatties sitting on the couch, right? I don't mean that in a demeaning way. I was a fatty sitting on the couch. You're far better off than them. You know, all this, oh my God, you know, lifting is going to hurt you. It's going to hurt your joints. Come on, let's be real. You're 100 times better off than the people sitting on the couch, grub hubbing or, you know, doing what they do. Let's be real. Everything comes with a price. But the price that comes with exercise, you gain so much physical freedom and you gain so many amazing benefits that, hey, oh, I have to deal with a strain every now and then from playing hard, right? It's better than being like the guy in the whale movie where you're sitting around and you're completely immobile. So when you're dealing with injuries, you have to baby them. You have to give them time. You have to not rush them back. You have to assume when they feel okay that there's a potential that you're not okay yet. So just don't get frustrated. Do what you can do. Excuse me. Do what you can do. Do it hard and don't aggravate the injury. How you doing, buddy? You got anything important to say? Chichi Mango? You got anything important to say? That's what we call him, Chichi Mango. I don't know. My wife started calling him a little Chichi, and now we just call him Chichi Morongo. I have no idea why. It's just some little silly name we created. Right, buddy? He's a good boy. He's the best boy. Every time you take him outside, he tries to go poop, even if he doesn't have to poop. All right. How to train puny calves. So I was discussing this with a client this weekend, right? Or this morning. And you don't see many people on social media going, it's calves day, right? We're gonna hammer calves instead of calf PR. How many people, seriously, how many people do you know have trained calves relentlessly, consistently over a 5-year period of time? I'll wait for the list. Okay, you're done. None. Right? You might know some IFBB pros that do it, but certainly none of the bros do it. It's super rare. So the first thing we have to understand is there's a lot of hype and information and misinformation and disinformation about calves not growing, but the reality is nobody really trains calves like they should. So the first piece of the puzzle is you got to go Rocky Balboa on your calves. You have to get up at 5 o'clock, chase chickens around the yard, do seated calf raises. You want to do a combination of seated and standing calf raises. The seated calf raises will focus on the soleus. You want to do like a 3-second count up, a little bit of a static hold, and then a 3-second count down. We're going to increase the time under tension or stress time on calves. Now, time under tension can be a dirty word. It can be something that in most cases we chase for hypertrophy instead of progressive overload. But there are certain muscle groups with a limited range of movement, traps, inch, maybe 2 inches, calves, limited plane of movement, limited A to B, length of movement. So for those, we want to not only chase progressive overload, but we want to increase our tension time or our stress. So that's one of the exercises you want to do that with. On bench press and rows, that's going to happen naturally. That's already part of the equation. So we don't need to add it in. So you want to train your seated calf raises to tax the soleus, and you're standing to, tax the other head. I forgot what it is offhand. Do both of those in a week, right? And, pick a rep range that works for you, but above all else, focus on progressive overload and consistency over a long period of time. How many times have you been to the gym ever and saw somebody on a calf machine doing a weight where you were just like, what the right? I've never seen it in 38 years. right? I've walked into the gym and saw somebody deadlifting and been like, what the man, that's impressive. Or when you walk into a gym and you see somebody doing 4 plates on a squat, you have nothing but respect, right? You can tell when you walk into a gym and somebody's crushing something and you have all this respect for them. I mean, seriously, have you ever walked into a gym and saw somebody crushing calves, like the GOAT, like the greatest of all time, right? Just getting it on calves? I've never seen it. So you want to be that guy first and foremost. Rico, good morning, Rico and Joe from Team Massive, new client of mine, Yvonne. Just come through Yvonne's form videos on Team Massive. If you join TeamMassiveIron.com, and I'm not trying to pressure you, but I'm letting you know, you can do 4 form checks a week as part of the Team Massive, and the price on that's super low. So, Dumbbells and Donuts. Happy Friday, my soccer-loving friend. Watching this one whilst baking the annual mince pies. Well, we don't make mince pies, but I would certainly love your recipe to check it out and to make it. In America, we're I don't know. My family growing up, we would do the cherry pie, the apple pie, kind of the Jello pudding, chocolate pie type of thing. Dominic, do you have any New Year's resolutions? Yes. There are some people that are like, you should live like that all year round. Well, that's fair. But we have to find times in life where we refocus. We have to latch into things in life that help us refocus our motivation. So times like the New Year's are a great time for that. We can reflect. We get a fresh start. It's an amazing time of the year. We get to start over. We get to press the reset button. There's hope, and we need to maximize that and take advantage of that. We don't want to just be like these lame social media influencers are like, every day should be like New Year's, and if you need New Year's to focus you, then what are you doing with your life, you peon scumbag? Did I scare you, Chichi Mango? You know what I'm saying? Like, the holier than thou, I'm Jesus and walk on water, 24/7, 365 influencer cunts, right? Did I just say that? Sorry. My wife's Australian, so forgive me, right? It just slipped out. That's the first time I let that one go on live. So excuse me. Let's just bleep that out. Can we have the censors bleep that out? But you don't want to be like those influencer knobs that just get on like, every day you should be living like it's New Year's. And if you need New Year's to motivate you, kind sir, like, shut up, man. Shut up. I'm going to use everything I can to motivate me, right? I'm going to use everything I can to motivate me. It's called culting motivation, right? We want to do what we can on a daily basis to focus ourselves and, forget all that stuff. That stuff drives me crazy. The fake positivity and the Superman syndrome, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, do I have any New Year's? I can't believe I said the C word. The stuff that happens on live video, please forgive me. I'm going to blame it on my wife. She's Australian. It happens. I love you, Australians. One good thing about Australians is they can still say what they want and nobody gets butthurt, or a lot of people don't get butthurt. So the world needs more of that. And we don't need more cussing, and we don't need more C words on live videos. And trust me, I'm ashamed that came out. But, it's anyway, my New Year's resolutions. One thing I'm going to do is this year I'm going to let you guys tell me how to train, right? Outside of full body, which I have no interest in doing. Every 3-month cycle, I'm going to let you guys pick how I'm going to train. I just want something different. I want some different variables. So I'm going to put up like 4 different programs I want to do. And I'm going to let you guys pick, which one I do for every cycle within reason. And big goals, I'm going to try to get in my best shape. I'm going to try to make training videos down here. I have some content resolutions. I'll be starting a second channel where I'll be doing 2, 3, 4 podcasts in the morning at like 6 a.m. I have to schedule that. I believe I'm going to try to do those about 6 a.m., but we'll see. Hey, Bald Omnimad's tuning in. How you doing? It's an honor to have you watching. So I'm going to try to do that on a separate channel. My content on this channel, I'm going to try to very much focus on more of my training philosophies. I'm going to try to continue to detach from the noise of the industry, and I'm just going to try to continue to improve my education. I have a training app coming out this year, and I'm not going to get into details, but the alpha is starting soon. We looked at all the training apps in the industry, and trust me, a lot of them are made not for hardcore lifters like us. A lot of them are for general fitness folks. So we are putting out a training app that is made for lifters, right? And it's going to have some features that no other app has, and we're very excited about it. We have big plans for this app. We're going to come out with a counterpart that's going to be like a MyFitnessPal competitor, and you'll be able to combine and connect our training app to our nutrition app. And we're also looking at introducing coaching levels and workouts you can buy and keep in your system, social features on the app. We're looking at making this into a big thing, and I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, but that's a big goal in the New Year's. I tried to do massive fitness equipment. That didn't work so well. We got caught up in a lot of issues with the cost of shipping. But this training app is going to happen, and we work on it weekly. We talk about it weekly. It's looking absolutely amazing. And I think you guys are going to love it. It's filling a hole in this industry for serious lifters. And when I say serious, I'm not being demeaning to the average person that goes to the gym. But if you want to track PRs and progress and lift trajectories and RPEs and daily creatine use. So when do I take my creatine? All these variables in lifting, these are going to be in the app. And it's going to be unlike anything you've seen before, because we are working on it as lifters for things we want to track as lifters. So my other big New Year's resolution is to get back into running. I want to run a couple 50Ks this year. I ran some this year. So this year is going to be 2023 was a year of hell in many ways for me. We tried to sell our property. The market went crazy, right? We just had a $150,000 downtown property, and the market went crazy, and the value almost doubled. So we sold it, and we built a house, and I have a nice gym. It was a lot of stress moving. I felt like I've spent the whole year moving and building fitness equipment. But 2024, I want to be my best year ever. I'm looking forward to being super tight with nutrition. I'm going to let you guys pick my workouts. We're going to get back to running. We're going to do it all. I'm not in my peak right now. I've had a couple of good months of training this year where my bench was close to 400 and my squat was getting up there, and I was really crushing things. But I'm going to be, I should be hitting my stride again back by February, and then we have the full year to run. So, all right, what do we got here? Chichi is nice and asleep, buddy. How you doing, Chichi? All right. Barbell Bryce. And if you guys on Instagram have questions, please fire them off. Morning. I appreciate all you do. And I appreciate you being part of Team Massive, man. You're an essential part of Team Massive. So many of you guys are. I look forward to, one of the beautiful things about Team Massive is I look forward to the people each day, right? I look forward to seeing the people each day. And honestly, when I don't see them, like Martin, like Bryce, like Kayla, like like Abby, like all you guys. I'm not going to go through the whole name, like Paul, like Eric, like Thomas, just all you guys. I miss you guys. I like connecting with you on a daily basis. It is my favorite thing to do outside of coaching. It's my hobby, and I'm thankful for all of you guys. Big Justin Jones, Merry Christmas. I love this guy right here. Just absolutely killing it. He is often one of the best starts I've ever seen of any client. So have a wonderful weekend, my friend, and just keep doing it. You're inspiring me. Merry Christmas, Steve. Do you see any benefits in doing incline work? Yeah, I mean, there's no downside in doing incline work. We just can't elevate it into something that's going to magically turn our chest into a mountain, right? And that you can rest a beer can on top. That's a fairy tale. But exercise variety within reason always provides benefits. Slightly different angles are only going to be beneficial for hypertrophy. We don't have to go to the extreme or the absurd. But having a 20-degree angle on inclines, I used to do bench one week and incline barbell bench the next. And then I would flip-flop those on dumbbells. I'd do dumbbell incline and regular flat bench dumbbells. So I like reasonable variation. No downside in that if it fits in and you enjoy it as well. I used to do dumbbell RDLs, feeling it a lot in my hamstrings. Changed a barbell a few weeks ago, having trouble feeling it. Not unusual. I mean, with a dumbbell, you get to keep it at your side, right? And there's a more natural arm position. A barbell is a little bit weight forward. Now, that's not going to pose much of a difference for most people. But I started doing the dumbbell RDL about age 47. Just, I don't know. One day, this might sound stupid, but one day I'm like, why don't we ever do RDLs with dumbbells? You just kind of doing the same thing forever. And you're like, why don't I do that? So I tried them with dumbbells and I just like them. And you know what? For those of you guys that work in a home gym or you get tired of chasing barbells at a commercial gym, grabbing a dumbbell is sometimes a little bit easier. Just make sure you're using straps. Big Jonathan, what are some of your personal strategies to survive the holidays? Okay, let's get into things a little bit. Number one, it's the holidays. I want you guys to enjoy. What I tell folks is that we should celebrate celebrations, right? We should celebrate the fun times, the birthdays, the holidays, the New Year's, the Super Bowl parties. Have fun. It's when we turn every other day of the year into a celebration that we get ourselves into danger. Now, with that said, we don't have to abuse ourselves, right? We don't have to eat the whole second piece of pie, right? If you eat the first piece of pie, you can take a bite out of the second piece of pie. Just feed the rest of your kids, right? Or your dog or whatever. But you don't have to eat everything. I focus on protein first. And you don't have to do that, but I focus on protein first and quality veg second. And then I enjoy. I mean, if grandma's making whatever, eat it. Like if your aunt's making her favorite dish, eat it. Don't be disrespectful. Celebrate. That was made with love. Enjoy it. Celebrate. Even if it tastes like a monkey's ass, right? Humor and try it. You know what I'm saying. One time I had a relative that found a ramen noodle casserole on a recipe site, and she didn't realize you had to cook the noodles. So she just crunched them up and put them in the casserole and baked it. So we had this ramen casserole with dry, jagged, sharp ramen noodles that were, and it was just tearing up your palate. But I ate it like a champ, right? Anyway, one of my biggest rules is if you eat to the point where you can't have good sex, like you're too bloated, then you might want to check yourself a little bit. You might want to put yourself in check. Doing that a couple times a year is fine, right? No one goes into Thanksgiving like, I'm going to feast and then I'm going to go have good sex. And I know talking about sex can make some of you uncomfortable, but it's a reality. If you're eating to the point where you can't have good sex, where you're super bloated, you got to get some help, my friend. I mean, but over Christmas, if you do that, have fun, man. Just eat all the cookies. My mom used to make pails and pails of cookies for me because she loved me, right? And she didn't want me to shrivel into nothing. and I would eat all the cookies. I would eat all the cookies. Just have fun, be reasonable, don't do anything you regret, but by all means, just celebrate. Madam, what's your favorite holiday movie? Good question. There's so many that I like. I'm not a big Frosty fan. The Grinch, I don't mind. Bahu Bore, it's all right, right? I can enjoy it. Without a doubt, it has to be Charlie Brown's Christmas for a couple reasons. Number one, the soundtrack. I love the music. I love that music. I love the jazzy Christmas music. Just phenomenal. I think that's one of the best Christmas soundtracks, songs, compilations, whatever you can listen to. I just absolutely love the music from that show. I also like when Linus gets on stage and talks about that's the meaning of Christmas, Charlie Brown. Just the way he says it, setting aside the religious aspect of it, okay? Setting that aside, the sincerity in that scene from that child, that playing that actor, that's the meaning of, Christmas, Charlie Brown. It gets me every time. It just turns me into a boo-boo baby, right? It gives me cry balls. It just hits me deep in the soul every time. Even setting the religious side of things apart, like the true spirit of Christmas. Setting aside just hear me out, and I don't want to get into a religious discussion here, but there is a bigger component to Christmas, and that is the social celebration, the giving, just the spirit of the season, right? I love that time of year. So anyway, Shelly, there's so many times of the year where we're just hitting each other and nitpicking all this stuff, and to have a season of the year where we focus on giving and loving, and everybody's in a good fucking mood for once. It feels good, doesn't it? Right? All right. You know what I'm saying? Shelly, good morning. Shelly from Team Massive. Shelly is one, I would say maybe slightly older me by a couple years, right? But amazing woman. I'm so glad we have people like Shelly on Team Massive, just killing it. And, so many in her 50s and 60s give up, but Shelly is just crushing it. So, Reese, do you think squats are a necessity? No, they are not. You do need a quality grouping of exercises to put on mass. I don't really care what they are. Hack squats, Smith squats, leg extensions, leg press, sissy squats, whatever you're doing, Bulgarian split squats, lunges, whatever you're doing, you need a good battery. I'm not talking about a battery to charge things, an ensemble, right? A grouping of exercises that are going to crush. Chris, morning team. Chris from Team Massive. Hope you're feeling better. Is the word gallons of milk also censored by YouTube? Apparently not. I drank the Kool-Aid of time under tension, exaggerated stretch for a while. Believe me, folks. Yeah, tools are tools. You don't have time under tension should be a byproduct of good training, right? It's not something you chase. It'll be there with good training, right? When we learn to control the weight and not just throw it around, then it's already part of your training. Does that make sense? Troy, this is the legend from Instagram. The legend. How can I help lock my hips in place while deadlifting? Well, Troy, yours lift to a minor degree. And it can be almost like when we talk about hip lift, when you're set on a deadlift, some people have a minor, you know what I'm saying? Part of it's discipline. Part of it is learning to pull up and pull the slack out of the bar before you actually pull. Big breath, brace, pull the slack out of the bar, get the head as far away, and learn to lead with the head, right? Don't yank. Learn to lead with the head. Try to lift up and drive the head back. That's important. Try to drive the shoulders straight up and the head straight up to lead the deadlift. Like, it's impossible to get the hips perfectly in place, perfectly in the same place on every rep. It's impossible. So understand that. And what you have is just normal variance. It's impossible to get the hips at the perfect leverage position for your body every rep. We're not machines. We just can't do that. So if the hips are a little bit lower than normal, even by a half inch, they're going to rise when you pull to seek that leverage position. If they're too high by a half inch when you pull, your body's going to kind of want to do that to kind of get you out of the deadlift. So, Troy, what you have is minimal. You need to understand that first and foremost. Reese, do you think squats and deads can be risky? No. I think initially for lifters in their first couple of years, we have a tendency as a lifting community to pound the lower back. RDLs, squats, deadlifts. We're pounding on that lower back. And we need to temper that a little bit. A lot of times what you see is that you have lifters pounding their lower back straight out of the gate, and they don't have quality form. And that's not, we're not slamming people. That's the reality. They don't have quality form yet. It takes time to master the squat and deadlift. It's very much like a martial art. We have to understand it. It takes very little time to figure out a curl. But it takes time to figure out a squat and deadlift, right? And most of us don't have coaches behind us that know what they're doing. So they're risky if we don't take time to learn squats and deadlifts, and if we just put too much pressure on the lower back, straight out of the gate, pushing progression. We have to, I'm not saying go slow necessarily, but we have to temper what we do, keep the lower back healthy. If you're training these lifts hard, your lower back's probably going to be the weak muscle group in the mix. It might take a little bit of time to get up to speed, and that's okay. As a beginner or in your first couple of years of lifting anyway, if you want to maximize the muscle building process, sure, you want your barbell lifts in there, but you want to be focusing on machines and dumbbells as well. And, bench press and overhead press and all the other barbell lifts are pretty easy to learn. But we do have to temper dumbbells or deadlifts and squats a little bit. All right, we have some comments from the Instagram. Barton, what are the key indicators to change programming up or lower volume? Volume should be adjusted based on what is happening in the gym. We don't arbitrarily, you can have times where you arbitrarily try a higher volume program, right? I'm going to try a higher volume program, and just to mess around with something more specialization. But if you're talking about adding volume or adjusting volume in your program right now, a lot of it has to be based on what's taking place in the gym. So for me, for example, on barbell rows, I don't like to do high rep sets. They don't feel good. I don't like 8 to 10 rep sets on barbell rows. So instead of doing a 3x8, 3x10, I would prefer to do a 4x6. So therefore, I'm adding a volume of sets, not really a volume of reps. On barbell RDLs or dumbbell RDLs, I find them to be extremely taxing. Now, I'm not a one that gets way overboard about, fatigue, like really panicked about fatigue, stimulus versus fatigue. But there are some lifts where it is a real thing. And most other lifts, it's a super minor thing. But like for me, heavy RDLs, I dial them down to 2 sets just because they're way too taxing. You can dial down deadlifts to 2 sets because they're way too taxing. we still want to have them in the mix. Let's say you're in the gym and you find on your back day or your back work that you feel pretty good, and you might want to add another set of seated cable rows and then add it. These have to be based on what's taking place in the gym rather than arbitrary changes, if that makes sense. What's the best indicator of muscle growth? Measuring your size, right? You said except seeing changes in size. I mean, hard training and combined with a good proper bulk and good proper nutrition over time and good form and controlling the weight is what you want to be. And the best indicator of muscle growth is going to be outside of just measuring. You need to make sure your weight is moving and that you're in a proper bulk, because if not, if you're not in a proper bulk, then you're really minimizing the likelihood that you're going to gain much muscle at all. So outside of measuring your muscle size, it's got to be the weight. You have to be nailing your bulks. You can maintain, plantain, try to do all those things. But in all my years of coaching, I've never seen anybody build substantial amount of muscle holding mass or holding the same weight. I'm sorry, it's reality. I've had an endless army of guys building mass, and you can check Instagram for some examples. I only post the clients I want to be posted, and for every one of those, I have 10 or 20 more that I've never posted. But the ones that are growing are nailing their bulks, and we don't do fat bulks in the massive iron world. You can go over to superlivingtoday.com, my website, and search bulk, and you'll find my book, Massive Bulking, and it'll teach you if you want to pay the price. Or you can go to my you can go to YouTube, and I have tons of videos, free information on massive bulking. But we do controlled 10-pound bulks, sometimes controlled 15-pound bulks. If your weight's not moving, the mass is usually stagnating. I can't decide between running massive mass, which is basically 2 sets per exercise, or power muscle burn next. As someone who has enjoyed the upper, posterior, and PPAL, how about doing them both, my friend? How about taking power muscle burn and doing 2 sets of the power, 4 sets of the muscle with 2 exercises each, and 4 sets or 2 sets of the burn. You could even do 2 sets of the power. You could add in 3 or 4 exercises for the muscle weekly, and then the burn. You could do them both. You could have the best of both worlds. How's that sound? Well, we don't agree on everything. I appreciate everything you taught me. Thank you. No one's ever going to agree on everything, right? There are guys I respect in this industry greatly where I don't agree on everything. Me and Dr. Mike probably agree on like 80% of stuff. Occasionally he'll say something that I find ridiculous. I'm sure there's things I say that he finds ridiculous. But I do respect those of us that are dedicating our life to trying to help people. And I will say, massive iron is, if you want to remember what massive iron is always about, it is finding the commonalities in training, the commonalities in training philosophies, the commonalities in what's going on in the gym, and then using those as the pillars we focus on. So I am not one to overly focus on the fringe stuff. You guys want to use tools, but let's remember what's important. Too much Christmas cheer. Thursday night's movie night in our house. Me and my wife always stay up and watch a movie. Last night we watched Silent Night. It's an action movie with no words, and we did not like it. Nico, we got literally like 10 minutes from the end and we shut it off because all the action scenes were just repetitive. Swing car around, stab somebody, swing car around, shoot somebody. Right. Nikos, on progressive overload, why do we take the last set to failure and not the first set? You can take the first set to failure, but if you take the first set to failure, well, on my threes protocol, we don't work on failure in the massive iron world. We work on pushing sets for as many quality, safe reps as possible, stopping the set when you feel like you're going to fail on the next rep or when form starts to break down. So failure is not a word we use in the massive iron world. We push for max safe reps. So we do have protocols like that, like threes, where we push every set. We do have protocols like dynamic double progression, where we push every set for max safe reps. We do have those in place. We just don't do them on every exercise. If you want to know why some exercises you do the last set to failure, or excuse me, I just broke my own rule, the last set to max safe reps. If you do the first set to max safe reps, then the second and third are going to be for max safe reps, right? Likely. So what you're doing is you're turning all three sets into max safe reps. That's the difference. Why do we do some exercises last for max safe reps? Because this is a way for us to get in challenging work for some of the minor lifts, still progress. Look, some of the minor lifts are harder to progress in, like barbell curls. You're going to go slowly. Cable tricep extension is going to go slowly. So we're not going to make rapid progression. So we're going to get in our volume and push that last set and hope we get a +1 and hope we can eventually move up. So we use that protocol a lot on the slow progressors and on some of the, I hate to say assistance work, but backup, muscle building work. But if you do the first set for max safe reps and you hit like a 13, the second and third set are usually going to be for max safe reps. That's why. Does that make sense? Barbell Beauty, one of the main members of Team Massive. Thanks for tuning in. What are your thoughts on barbell brands, specifically Robe? Here's my thoughts. I started with a New York barbell bar, and they had a 1,000-pound bar. It was a tank, man. I mean, I beat the living crap out of that bar. Is it considered one of the elite bars? No. Are Titan bars considered one of the elite bars? No. I used a Titan bar last night to shrug. I use it to bench. I think when you're in that class, you have to decide if the extra couple dollars are worth it. I believe that some of the quality lower model brand bars, and the quality difference, when I say lower quality, it doesn't mean they're junk. It means they're kind of just a step down. They've always served me well. So all I'm going to say is if you want to go from like the Honda Accord to the BMW 4 Series, you have to, does your budget, match your needs? And is it worth it? Because the Honda Accord is probably going to get you all the mileage you need. Steve, how are you? Good. Thanks. Hope you're doing well. I train legs twice a week. Is it okay to add 20 minutes a month? Yeah, absolutely, man. A lot of times I go running. When I'm running, I run after leg work. Absolutely. As long as you are nailing your nutrition, you're going to be absolutely fine. The body's not fragile. And that's another pillar we teach in the massive iron world. The body's not that fragile. Don't believe the influencers, the fakes and phonies pushing that the body is fragile. So Chichi Mango is right here, feeling all comfy cozy, buddy. Anthony, do you have any tips for people who do not enjoy the holidays because of going no contact with family and all that? Look, if it's depressing, like if it wears on you, and I don't know the situation, but my best advice is to get out. Go do something. Go to a movie theater. Go on a cold hike. Even if you're not a church guy, go to a Christmas service. Go to a Christmas play. Go get out and be amongst people. That's my best advice. Even just go shopping at the mall. Be around people. People can be annoying, but we're also social creatures. And being locked into a room, watching Christmas movies or being by ourselves, it can get kind of depressing. So my best advice is to go out, Go to a bar on Christmas Eve and hang out with the other slack asses that have nobody there. I've been there, man. I've been there. I used to go visit my daughters in Wisconsin. We had a big yawn there from the dog. I used to go visit my daughters in Wisconsin, and on Christmas Eve, I'd be in a hotel room, right, by myself, and it gets super, So find something to do. All right, let me get a drink here. We're almost an hour in. I haven't had a drink of my beverage yet. All right, that one's gone. We're going to bring the backup into play. Excuse me. You get what you pay for in this free live. If you expect me to be polished and sexy, you got it wrong. I'm the big, hairy, ugly dude. Sorry for belching in your ear. Couldn't help it. Paul, one of my favorite human beings, Mr. Tequila. I love Paul like a brother. Merry Christmas, my Team Massive friends. All I want for Christmas is my 2 front tooth. One thing I always tell my wife is that I'm going to go brush my tooth. Right? I always say, I'm going to go brush my tooth. Like I have 1 tooth. Funny. I'm a funny guy, right? Richard, Merry Christmas. Steve, do you have any new PDFs on the horizon? Yeah, I'm working on one right now. I nearly finished it this week. It's called Massive Squash. And what it is we take the upper posterior, or we take the body part split. And what we're doing is we're putting a leg day. It's a 3 or 4 day a week program, but we're putting a leg exercise on each day. So for the body part split, we're doing chest and triceps, back and biceps, shoulders and traps. And at the end, and then we're doing an arm day. And at the end of each, we're adding in a leg exercise. The upper posterior is changed. So it is, how do I have it set up? I have chest and shoulders on one day, and then I have back and arms on the next. And at the end, that's the AB split. And at the end, we're doing a leg day. So that's called Massive Squash. It's a new thing I was just sitting around thinking about. I created, and it's going to be a new program. I literally have it 90% of the way done. It should release next week. I just haven't had a chance to polish it up a little bit, but that's coming. I like it. It's different. I like when I come up with program splits that have never been done before or that I don't recall seeing before, because variables simply are a good thing. They give us options. Someone once said, you preach the basics, excuse me. Why do you come up with all this new stuff? It's just to sell stuff. Well, folks that say that don't realize that I give it away for free. I always give away my programs for free on this channel, and then I offer them as an option to buy PDF wise. So I always give away my stuff for free. Always have, always will. I don't do it to generate money. I don't do it for the fame and fortune. I create a lot of programs. I create a lot of things, and I'm just a small fry in the content world. Most people don't even know me. A lot of the stuff I've created over the years or focused on over the years, because of my positions in Muscle and Strength and Tiger Fitness, have kind of, found their way in. I was a big proponent of rest pause work way early before anybody was really rest pausing, other than maybe DC training. I was talking about natural potential way, way, way back when, natural limits. I hate to use the word limit, natural potential. I was talking about body parts, about the viability of frequency training in an era where it was considered taboo. Trainer of the year, thank you. I was talking about, what's another good example? We got rest pause. We got, frequency training. There's something else that came to mind. I don't even know. Anyway, I've never done this stuff for, money. I always give it away for free. And if you guys want to come coach with me, I'd love to work with you. Why do I get weirdo looks from people in the gym when I train my neck? Those people are called stupid, right? Those people are called idiots. Hey, Brianne Feathers is watching. You guys need to check out her books on Amazon. She's an ex-client of mine, a prolific writer. It's Brienne, Brien _ Feathers, Feathers, Brien _ Feathers. You guys should really check her out. She's a writer. And I really appreciate what she does. It's nice to watch somebody be successful. And if you guys get a chance, go check her out on Instagram and maybe check out some of her books. All right, where were we? Sorry, I couldn't resist, Brad. I'm saying your name right. Sorry. Where are we at? I lost track of things. There was Paul. Oh, yeah, the weirdos. The neck. We have to get to the stage in life where we're like, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Weird people will look at you. Strange people will criticize you for doing everything, right? You can't win with them. But we do not care what others think because we are on a mission and everyone else can kick rocks, right? Mike, how do you program in supersets and what's a practical for a commercial gym? We have to be practical for a commercial gym. Number one, for a superset, we want to do supersets that work the same area, that are kind of, hitting chest, triceps, biceps. Some of them can be progressions. Like I have a thing called massive curls, where you do strict barbell or easy bar curls. And then when you can't do anymore, you do cheat curls, which is kind of a progression. Then when you can't do any more of those, you do drag curls, which is kind of a progression. So it's a form of a superset. I'm petting my dog here. He's trying to get up again. I love you, Chichi. Can't come up. I need a little break. We can't be a-holes in the gym when it comes to supersets, right? We don't want to be the guy that's jumping from the pec deck to the cable crossover, hogging half of the gym. We can't be doing that. So a lot of times what I do is, if I'm doing a superset for my clients, it's going to be something they can do with body weight, like do leg press and then do body weight lunges, or do dips and then do push-ups, right? So usually in a commercial gym, I like to structure things where you can do something without aggravating somebody else. And a lot of times that's in body weight stuff. Big William Baker, cheers, especially Team Massive. Thanks for tuning in. Do you think Smith machine behind the neck is effective? Yeah, I mean, I've done BTN presses. You just want to make sure you don't really lower past the lower bottom of the ear, then you're fine. But yeah, as long as just get in the right position, lower it to about the bottom of the ear, it's a perfectly fine variation. Big Sam, when mid-intermediate, should your surplus be as close to maintenance? No. What are you going to get out of it? And we're not doing aggressive bulks, right? What's the point? So we still want to get mass. We want to encourage mass. The rules don't change. It just makes it harder to grab plus ones. It makes it harder to progress in weight. But the lower we lower, that doesn't sound right, or the more we lower our calories, the harder it is to get plus ones, unless we're going to get out of our training. So we have to be, it's okay to do a 5-month bulk at 10 pounds and then cut for a month, and a 5-pound bulk at 10 pounds. But we really shouldn't be under 2 pounds a month. It makes no sense. And it kind of, takes away your chance of adding a lot of quality mass. All right. On the old Instagram, I was intrigued by your daily check-in procedure. Do you use auto messaging? No, we don't. I don't auto message. No way. Forms, no way. I use Trainerize. I use a spreadsheet. I have every client's name on my spreadsheet, and I go through that client one by one. What I do differently, I'm not criticizing anybody else's coaching style, but what I do differently is I want to see what the client did today or yesterday on their workout. We're going to look at it, right? Squats. What happened on the second set? Reps dropped. You okay? Everything okay? The third set, you pushing that for max safe reps. We're looking at numbers on a daily basis. If I have to look at like 4 workouts or 5 workouts on the same day, I don't specifically like doing that. I don't. I find it harder to connect as a coach. That's just the way I coach. So I want to see your form video when it's fresh from squats. I want to see your workout. You would think this takes a lot of time, but it actually takes the same amount of time, as doing weekly check-ins. A lot of clients or coaches do weekly check-ins. It takes about the same amount of time. It seems like it takes more. Other coaches think I'm crazy, but when I see your workout numbers, I can say, hey, man, this was wrong. What's up with that? I'm going to have some questions for them on a daily basis when that workout was fresh. I also allow for 1 form video per day per client, generally, and I will poke them and prod them to look at a certain lift. We'll work on things over time. And, does it take a lot of time to coach like this? Well, it's like any other, job. It's going to take up your day, but I'm doing what I love. So Thomas, one of my clients and team massive member, morning, Wino Client of the Client of the Year award. You all are clients of the year. All of you. You're all clients of the year. Absolutely. I appreciate each and every one of you more than you know. Any tips on coming back after being sick? Number 1, when you are really, really sick, probably take an extra day or 2 to settle in. Get your sodium in because you're probably a little bit depleted from an electrolyte standpoint. Get some potassium. Get your potatoes, tomatoes, leafy greens. Not a lot, but a little. Get your sodium and potassium in. Get hydrated. Get some complex carbs in the system. Make sure you truly feel better. And then, listen to yourself on your warm-ups. That's kind of a key part of training, is that when you come back, you need to adjust if you feel like you need to adjust. From Instagram, a follow-up. Interesting. I may have to try to implement this somehow. I also use Trainerize. Always have enjoyed learning something from people like you, Mark, and Dr. Mike. I appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, actually, one of the things I'm going to be doing in 2024 is I'm going to be coaching coaches a little bit more. And I'm also going to be helping people set up content strategies and YouTube strategies. I know I don't have the biggest strategy, or I don't have the biggest channel in the world. We have to do what we have time for, right? I don't have time to make professional videos like some of these other YouTubers, and I'm not being critical of them. I just don't have time. I simply don't. I'm coach full-time for a living. So the content I put out is, sometimes it's just like this. The quality is the quality. I focus on the message, and when I have time, I do a little bit of editing, for fun. But I'm going to be doing more of that in the coming year. I've done a lot of it last year, just not as a service. So it's something I want to do a little bit more of in the coming year. Let's see, where we at? What's your favorite bourbon? I am not a big bourbon fan. I don't mind it. It's kind of a sin being close to Kentucky to say so, but I'm a big Scotch fan. I like playing around with Scotches. I find them easier to drink. I like the flavors. I'm a big Scotch fan. Chichi Mango. Chichi Mango. He wants to come back up. He does not like being away from Daddy. Is there some food in there? All right, where are we at? Mike, house. Hey, Team Massive, I have limited equipment in my home gym for any leg work. Any problem with just doing squats? No, I think there's still value in doing a little bit of lunges, doing a little bit of Bulgarians. I mean, when you're at a home gym, you don't have many options, right? So you don't have to overdo Bulgarians. You don't have to overdo lunges, but getting in some might not be the worst thing you could do. You know what I'm saying? Big CJ, do you have a name for your new channel? No, I don't. Maybe I'll put that up. If you guys, I'm going to have a second channel where I'm going to do podcasts like 15 minutes, 3, 4, 5 times a week. I'm going to just get on at the same time. I'm going to go live. I'm going to go for a topic, and I'm just going to talk every morning. Just talk, whatever you guys have topic wise, just for 15 minutes. I don't know what I'm going to name that. If you guys have any suggestions, go ahead. That is going to be a separate channel. One of the issues with doing YouTube forever is, you just get the same views forever. Like, no matter what I do, no matter what content I put out. I mean, I put out a video last year where it put out 5 different bench press protocols for free in the video. Like, probably one of the better content videos I've ever put out. I just detail these 5 bench press programs. I go through progression schemes. I lay it all out for free in the channel. And I get like 4,200 views, right? So there's kind of a limit your channel can get with YouTube once it kind of, peg holes you. I'm not making excuses, but that's just kind of the way it goes. It really, for this channel to get 10,000 views would take a miracle, even if I put out the best possible content in the world. So you'd almost have to start a new channel to test YouTube. But I'm going to put the new stuff over on the new channel just for fun. RG, you ever hit that 400-pound bench? I got pretty close this year. I did go up to 390 once for a single this year, but I didn't feel the strongest that day. Calm down, buddy. No one's going to kill you. You'll be all right. Yep. Oh, my goodness. That was loud. Sorry, guys. He thinks somebody's out the door. I once, sorry about that. He goes crazy. I once hit a 405 in the gym when I was at Tiger Fitness approaching age 50. I just randomly tested my max that day and I hit 405. I don't even know if I have a video of it, so I don't like to talk about lifts I don't have videos of, because in this world of social media, if you don't have video proof, you might as well be lying, right? So I don't know. I got a lot of live videos I streamed over the years on Facebook. I honestly don't know if I have it on video. I just don't. But that's the most I ever benched since 1997. 1997, I recall being around 430. I had went from a period where from 97 to 99, my weight went from like 220 to 274 when I really started to gain weight. And my bench really, really went up during those 2 years. And I think it's more of a factor of my weight and how hard I was training. I was really at my strongest pressing wise during that era. I was dumbbell benching 120s overhead for 5s. I remember being phenomenally strong around that era in my presses. And I don't know why I never got back to that level. I don't. I have no idea why. Troy, now you have the awesome new gym. Do you plan to do some master classes? We're going to do a lot of stuff in the New Year's. I got to clean up the gym this week. And sorry about the dog noise. And then once I do, I'm going to do a gym tour. And once we get everything settled with the new year, get all my new clients onboarded and stuff like that, we're going to be doing some, some stuff like that. Aaron, what do you think about snatch grip deadlift? I would say be really careful. Make sure your form is good on deadlifts first. A lot of people think their form is good on deadlifts and it needs work. And I don't know anything about you, Aaron, but I'm just saying make sure your form is Pope approved, right? Make sure your form is good. And second of all, don't rule out the possibility that it might be more beneficial doing lower rack pulls or block pulls than deficit pulls. I know the strength world can be drunk on deficit pulls, and I'm not saying they can't have value, but one thing I learned when I started doing rack pulls or block pulls from 3 to 5 inches is that I was weaker there than I was off the ground, which exposed something very important. Now, about 10 years after, and Andrea said massive talk, about 10 years after I discovered this, I ran into an article, and I don't know which one. Maybe you guys have seen it, by Louis Simmons, where he talked about some of his strongest deadlifters when they went to a block pull a couple inches off the ground were weaker. And I found this curious. So what it taught me was that what I had experienced wasn't unique, and that other people have experienced it as well. There's a good chance working every other week on your deadlift off the ground may be as good or more beneficial. So don't rule that out. So what do you think about if you want to do a snatch grip deadlift? That's fine. It's going to pull your shoulders lower to the bar. The wider you get your grip, the more it's going to pull you down and place more stress on your lower back. That's not inherently bad if your lower back can take it and if your overall deadlift form is good. Matthew, would it be better to dial back squats or deadlifts? It truly depends on form. There are some people where they have a longer way to go exercise form-wise, and they should probably chill a little bit on squats till they get it nailed. And then there are some guys on deadlifts where they're dealing with lower back issues. So it's very, very personal. Matt, what's Santa bringing you for Christmas? My wife never tells me. I don't know. There's some things I'd like a little cigar humidor, but I haven't had a cigar in like 3-4 years, man. That's how busy I've been with coaching. Legit. Seriously. I don't even know if I'd have time to smoke cigars anymore. I don't know, man. I don't know. My wife pays a lot of attention. She's very, very good. We'll see. We'll see what Santa brings. I got her some gifts. Over here are a couple gifts for her, but I'm going to bring those up. Thoughts on elbow wraps or sleeves? There's no harm in sleeves. They can provide a little bit of support and a little bit of warmness. The cost is relatively low, so you're not going to lose really a lot of money. So there's really no downside if you kind of got a couple extra bones lying around, a couple extra dollars lying around. Get some and try them out. Let's go. Stardate 2024 is coming. Raphael, you spoke about mini workouts. You put out a program. I can't find the video. No, I don't know that I have. I mean, I've talked about it before, smaller workouts, shorter workouts. I was just talking about it a little bit on Team Massive this morning. If you need to shorten your workout, you can move to 2 sets per exercise and just work those sets harder. Or you can utilize rest pause work and turn the 3 sets into like rest pause, like DC training to kind of shorten your workout a little bit. RG, did you hit that bench? If not, are you still planning? I hope to hit a 400 this year, but I was feeling so good this year. Like when I was running, all I was like the max I was doing was 225 by 5 by 10 over and over and over again on bench. I never went heavy, but that's what I did. And when I came back to heavier bench, I was shocked this year that I was still right around projected 390, 395, 400 on bench. I did get up to three. I did move up. I did try 390 one day and I got it. But I didn't feel particularly good or strong that day. And I'm not using that as an excuse. I don't know if I could even get 400, if that was just my limit, but that's where it was. I use bands to warm up. If it works for you, yeah, you just don't want to be fatigued when you go into your first sets, but that's absolutely fine. Whatever works for you, man. Troy, when reviewing a client's horizontal rows, and for those of you guys that are curious, that's like if you were standing up, that's rowing this way, the opposite of a bench. So a seated cable row, a barbell row, a dumbbell row, right, pendlay row. How can you tell when head movement is a result of elbow drive? When you watch the torso and head on a row, you look for them to be locked in like a plank of wood, right? So if I'm watching somebody do a seated cable row and they move back and then the elbows go, I watch the shoulders and the elbows, right? If I'm doing a barbell row and I initiate here, right? The shoulders are going to move because of the elbow initiation. And if the torso moves a little bit, it's because of the elbow initiation. If you're doing this, right? If the shoulders move back before the elbows drive, that's a sign that you need a little bit of an adjustment. Does that make sense? And like on a pendlay row or a barbell row, what you see when things get sloppy or you get closer to form failure is like the head will stay locked in. And then as things get slow, people will start doing that to try to get the weight up. It'll be a subconscious, like doing anything they can to get the weight up. They start doing that because things feel slower. Is massive mass for beginners? If you got good exercise form and you are on a track where you are eating right and you know how to attack the weight, you can use it. It's just 2 sets per exercise. Absolutely. How much does a barbell bar add to your lift? A deadlift bar. Good question. Some deadlift bars, you're going to see a bend of about an inch. Now, it's a smaller circumference, right? It's going to feel better in your hands. It's going to allow for a little bit smoother acceleration off the ground. Like it's going to push back less. Even though the bend isn't as substantial, it's going to push back less. So I don't think it really adds a lot. But there are some bars out there. I believe, is it Kabuki Strength that has a deadlift bar that's longer and it actually bends more, which is very beneficial for sumo. And you see some of these uber sumo guys out there using this bar, and I'm not diminishing their strength, but it certainly does help. Have you tried liquid IV during workouts? I love the one with caffeine. I don't know what it is. I'd like, if you could send me the link to the product, I want to check it out. Why does when I do slow eccentric push-ups on my arms feel weak and shaking, but not on my bench? It's just a different exercise, man. It's just hard to say. It's each exercise is going to hit us a little bit differently, in your chest, and you're holding your weight above you, right? We're on a bench, you're tight. You're not holding it above you. So that it's kind of the same movement, but it's different. Does that make sense? My dogs are playing zoomies upstairs. What are your favorite back exercises? Same thing as for short guys, my friend. Pendley rows, dumbbell rows, seated cable rows. You can do inverted rows. You can do machine rows. Really no different. The only thing that might be different is when you are doing a deadlift, you might have to adjust because it might not be the best lift. You might want to do a hex bar deadlift with the high handles. On Instagram, we have a question. Graydon, are you still doing table talk? I was going to do it originally last week, but moving in here into our house, we're just so buried. I just didn't have time to go down there. So I asked them if we could reschedule. I'm still waiting to hear. Maybe they said kick rocks. You gave up your slot. We don't want you. I don't know. Merry Christmas, Steve. How often would you change rep ranges? This isn't reality. There's no strength in hypertrophy and endurance. This is nonsense. And I'm not being critical of you, my friend. This is patent bullshit. Strength is built in all rep ranges. Hypertrophy is built in reasonable rep ranges. There's no reason to train under 5 reps. You don't have to. In my workout power muscle block, we do a variety of exercises. You're better off for focusing on a variety of exercises and methods than doing this crap. This is some of the worst stuff you'll ever hear in the lifting world. Like, I need to do strength work, and I need to. Hypertrophy work is strength work. No matter who wants to hear it, that's your off season. You got to get stronger in hypertrophy ranges, right? So all this stuff is bullshit. Flush it out of your head, and just stick to convention. Troy, I'm on my second bulk cycle. It lasted 10 months. Started at 175. I gained over 20 pounds. May hit 25. How much should I cut? You want to facilitate a good bulk, so you cut until you can't stand it anymore. I would probably cut at least 10, maybe 15. If you can stand another 15-pound cut, I would go there. And then if you want to go another 5 pounds deeper, go. My suggestion on a cut is set a minimum 10, get to 10 feeling good, go for 15, get to 15 feeling good, go to 20. Sometimes guys get that level and they decide I'm going to, go even deeper. Do you recommend body weight workouts organized as a form of cardio circuit? You can do that. I like conditioning work. I like calisthenics. My wife used to do dailies. So we used to, I have a program called 10-100 that I put out a while back. My basset hound's going crazy up there. I like doing calisthenic work. I like doing stuff like that daily. So you can definitely do that. I absolutely recommend it. For the home gymmers, do you think buying different grips for lat pull down? Well, number one, they're low cost. So, it's usually not a major investment. With that said, personally, I would rather invest some money in getting a variety of equipment or towards more equipment. On a bulk, doing 20% fun foods, is it 20% of daily calories? Don't overthink this stuff, man. You are way into the overthinking zone. You're trying to create a rule, and it's not really a rule. 20%. If you're doing 20% fun foods and just going on calories, what's 20%? 1 out of every 5 meals. That's reasonable. Just hit your calorie intake, make most of your foods decent, and fill it in with a little bit of junk. But don't overthink it, my friend. Foul woman don't like long conversations in gym or outside. Is it possible I try and talk too much? Found women don't like conversations in the gym? I don't know, man. I don't know you, but check your breath, brother. I don't know. I don't know what you're saying, but I don't bother anybody in the gym. I'm in there to hang and bang like Hulk Hogan, right? Train, say your prayers, and eat your vitamins. I don't know. If you think you talk too much, talk less. Here's a rule. Here's a rule. Just jokes about your breath, but here's a rule. You want to get somebody to like you more? Stop talking and ask questions. Nicholas, what's your favorite sport? Nicholas, where'd you go to school? All right, ask questions. Just some life advice. People need to shut up and ask questions. You'll be more likable. What's the Massive Iron Santa? Where's the Massive Iron Santa merch? Did I make anything? Hold on. I made a couple of new shirts, but I can't recall if I made any ho ho ho. Let me see. What did I make recently? Sometimes I'll make a shirt in like 10 minutes just for fun. Oh, you guys want to see what I made recently? We'll do this real quick for fun. We'll take a little t-shirt break. This is on my website, superlivingtoday.com. Hold on, we'll get rid of that. We'll do present, share screen. Okay, so I made this coffee mug, which can't be microwaved, which is a pain. This is a new shirt, massive bulk, just a silly one, cartoonish. Massive bulk, 10 pounds up. It's got, a piece of pizza, a little bit of a fun shirt. This is on my website, Super Living Today. I made one for my new program just for fun. Massive squats available in a couple different colors. My crazy lame Photoshop, dumbbells, but I thought it was funny. And did I make anything else new? I worked on this one. I'm not sure, how cool. I think I like it in the red design. That looks pretty cool. I'm not sure if I like it in the burgundy design, but it's a little fun shirt, for the massive apparel line that sells 10 shirts a month. I made this one, I think, is a joke for somebody on Team Massive, little squat, massive squat booty or something, just messing around. I don't know. Let's see, what's this? Oh, yeah, we did put out the massive ho ho ho. The massive ho 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 hoodie is available on Super Living Today. Massive ho ho ho. I forgot I made that one. That's because no one bought one. Right. And let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, we got the t-shirt as well. So we got the massive ho 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 t-shirt. It looks good. Anyway, I'm not in it to win it with apparel. I just do it for fun and make some shirts I want to wear. Sam, I struggle to feel my back on T-bar rows. You need to get yourself fixed, my brother. I focus on driving the shoulders and elbows back at the same time. You should be able, if you do this right here, I can feel my back. You need to work on that like this, because you should be able to feel your back working even on heavy rows. Mind Pump says love is a choice. What do you think? I never thought of it that way, but seems to make sense. Well, action is a choice. And a big part of love is action. Love is not just a feeling. In this generation, it's feel, right? I feel all sparkly, right? Well, let me tell you, in the real world, love involves action. You can tell your partner you love them, but if you don't show it with action, you do not love them, right? So action is a choice. Therefore, love is a choice. You can choose to be an asshole. You can choose to be inactive, but that's not expressing love. And if you don't express love, you do not really love somebody. And so think of it that way. Can you go through your Christmas and New Year's traditions? What do we do? we usually sit around on Christmas Day going, oh, what are we going to eat? Right? Because everything's closed. So this is going to sound really silly, I guess, to some. We aren't big processed food eaters, but we will go to the store and get junk like processed burritos, frozen pizzas, things we wouldn't normally eat the rest of the year. And we'll just have them in the house for Christmas Day. We'll eat our Christmas meal on like Christmas Eve. And then the next day, we might have ham and then some junky crap from the freezer just for fun. That's the biggest one. A few years back, we ran a marathon in the snow on Christmas Eve. That was a lot of fun. Should the second meal after a workout contain fast carbs or complex? The way I prefer to structure things and the way I would advocate, and we're getting into bro science, but it makes a little bit of sense, is I would, as soon as I'm done with a workout, not immediately, but whenever it makes sense, I like to get in a protein shake or chocolate milk and some simple carbs. And this applies more when you're bulking in the building stages. So I like to get something in immediately. It could be a Little Debbie, something with some fast digesting carbs, get you going, get you back up to speed. And then when I drive home from the gym or go up and cook dinner, then I have my complex carbs and big, protein source. Does that make sense? Marvin, when sending daily workouts or videos, what address do we send it? For my clients, you send it through Trainerize. You paste, you upload photos or post links in Trainerize. Andreas said massive talk. Might do it. We got table talk, massive blabber. We'll figure it out. Eradicate government. The 10-minute block of trap deadlifts on Monday calculated 70%. Did 33 reps. That's a big start. Dude, you gotta chill a little bit. You went like full-blown atomic explosion. We don't want to kill ourselves. We want to go treat our lower back good. Usually I say when you get around 20 reps, it's okay to stop. The point is not to kill yourself, and I'm not being critical, man, but you got to pull back. And you got to be safe, take care of that lower back. That's the prime directive. If your back hurts, you need to deload squats or add a couple of rest days. On the 100-gram protein after workout, how long is the window? Well, this is all conjecture. And I didn't read, I'm not going to lie and say I read all 27 pages of the studies because it's just not worth my investment. But what I used to do is I used to just, do my simple carbs and my protein shake immediately after lifting. And then when convenient, I'd eat my big meal. So we have to be pragmatic about this, right? We don't want to just sit in the, it's not like we can't, this is what I warned in the video. We can't get into creating a rule or a fear like I have to do it within a certain number of hours or all gains are lost. This is when we get a little bit mentally, discombobulated in the industry. So just avoid that. Is the flag available in the store? Yeah, I have 3 flags. I have this one, I have a white one, and I have a one with a kind of a scary face on the massive VIP flag. So we got 3 flags in the Super Living Today store. What type of restaurants have the best macros? When you go to like a place where you can control what you put in the food, you're in a good place. Like Chipotle or whatever, you can control what you put in the food. So that's always good. Mexican restaurants, usually pretty clean, like depending on what you get. Like if you get fajitas or whatever, you can control it a little bit. Indian, I don't know. I'm not a big Indian fan. I'll eat Italians, just, a lot of pasta, and seafood. I would say Mexican and, um, I mean, Chinese, depending on what kind of Chinese you get. I mean, more like Japanese steakhouse, sushi, and stuff like that. That's good, but I don't know. It's really dependent on the menu items. Let me get a drink. All right. Keep the questions coming, guys. I'll stand as long as you have questions. Dogs are still going crazy. I've never been an endurance guy. Example, when he weighs gets too light and I'm hitting 15 or above reps, I feel just go heavier. Yeah, but I mean, you get to that rep range, it gets to be a little bit tedious. I find it mentally tedious. I don't really like to go too high in reps. Certainly when you get to 15, that gets extremely tedious. Bacon, everyone's favorite snack. Have you ever used Olympic lifting shoes? No. I do not. I prefer Chuck Taylor's, just a personal choice. I sometimes do things in just a regular Puma with a slight heel. I don't really notice much of a difference. That's me personally. Stian, hello from Norway. Thank you, sir. Merry Christmas to you. Would you prescribe complete beginners a bro split? Not generally. A rank beginner probably wants to do a full body for 2 months or so to ease in. Once they really hit a stride with their form and their consistency, then they can consider like an A-B type of split. Or if they want to continue along on a full body. Michael, do you prefer slow controlled reps with lighter weight or there's no difference, right? We're not compartmentalizing this. All of our stuff is controlled. We don't slow it like, put you to sleep, but you always control the weight down. That's part of every exercise other than barbell rows, dumbbell rows, or deadlifts. That is normal pace. They're the same thing. If you're like just doing this on, like seated cable rows, you're not doing any hypertrophy. It's control down, pull, control down, pull. We're very meticulous. Seated, lat pull downs, control, pull, right? Bench, control, press, right? We're not slowing it, but we're controlling it. Does that make sense? Matt, Merry Christmas to you. I struggle with high pulls. Don't do them. When you're at home, you might want to do the landmine press. You can do the bulldozer lateral, the regular lateral, or your regular press. So at the gym, you can do a machine press, but just get away from them completely. Just talk to me. We'll figure something out. Paladin, rank the following Marvel villains: Loki, Kang, Thanos, and Magneto. You give me a hard one. Wow. I'd have to think about that a little bit. How would I rank them? Like, who would I not want to fight? I mean, did Thanos do anything other than have a bunch of rings? I don't know. You tell me. Loki's pretty sneaky. Magneto's he's in the middle of things a little bit more. I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. Thanks again, Steve, for answering my question. Thank you. You continue to keep inspiring me and lifting. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you tuning in, each and every one of you. This gym is closed. I still want to work out. Any holiday workout ideas that can be done at home? One thing I tell folks that, when they're away is you can do push-ups. You can do push-backs. If you search massive iron pushback, that's kind of a shoulder-focused push-up. You can do dips between chairs. You can do wall rows where you get into a door and you pull yourself up. You can do an exercise where you lay on the ground and you push your elbows down, right? Push it down like you're rowing, but my back's on the ground, right? You're pushing down with your elbows. You can do pause jump squats, Bulgarian split squats. You can do lunges. You can get a backpack. You can pull ups. You can get a backpack and do curly whirlies with it. Tricep work, with it, something heavy. There's a lot of things you can do. Get creative, have fun. Massive Iron Santa. Steve will dress up as Santa Claus. Massive gifts in the bag. I dressed up as Santa Claus when I did my Christmas Eve marathon. I don't even know if I have pictures. Hold on a second. We'll entertain the masses with useless pictures of me dressed as Santa. Let's see. Whoa. We'll see if Facebook can even find it. If not, photos posted by you. Ho. Oh, there we are. Copy image address. Doodly doo. Okay. Shall we entertain the masses with a useless picture? Oh, sure. Why not? So maybe 4 years back, we decided to run a marathon on Christmas Eve morning. And we ran it in Santa outfits just for the halibut. And it was freezing cold, man. It was snowing. It was a memory. Let me tell you, it was a memory. Massive squats. Right, love it. Bill recently switched from threes to the 10-minute block on deads. Wow. Take some Steve time and have that cigar. Thank you. Merry Christmas, Bill. I appreciate you. Bacon, your videos always keep me on the straight and narrow because it's easy to get lost. That's my main goal. Some people don't like it when I push one of their favorite tools or concepts off to the side, but that's just the way it's got to be. Please explain why you don't like antagonistic supersets, because there's 50 other better things you can do in the gym we want antagonistic supersets are doing opposing muscle groups or not the same muscle group in a superset. So number one, we're getting into CrossFit conditioning territory. Number two, there are 50 better tools on doing antagonistic supersets, 50 better ways to intensify your workouts. Why do people get hung up on these things? I'm not saying you, Paladin, but I'm saying, well, why? There's just so many better things. We want the limiter on a set not to be some cardiovascular thing or some cumulative fatigue thing. We want to be laser focused on a muscle group, right? I'm not going to do bench press and before I recover, do Pendley rows. Why? I'm going to get tired from bench and then go do another compound movement? What sense does that make? I'm sure you can do it effectively, but there's literally like 50 better things you can do in the gym. That's why. Like we have limited amount of time in the gym. Okay. We have limited amount of time in the gym. You want to maximize this time. There are 50 better tools you can do to maximize your time. Someone will say, I want to save time in the gym. Well, then do 2 sets per exercise and push them both as hard as you can, or do rest pause work, bulldozer work, or like DC work. That'll save you time in the gym and that increases intensity. Why do we get hung up on antagonistic supersets? Not you, Paladin, but anybody. We want the limiter to be muscular, not mental, right? On antagonistic body parts, not conditioning. This is borderline CrossFit stuff, right? There's the bottom line is there's literally an endless number of tools that are better than this, right? That's the reason. We want to maximize our training. But I like them. So what? I like cake. I'm not eating it every day, you fucking fatties. That's the way we gotta self-talk. You know what I'm saying? I like things too, but that doesn't mean they're the best thing to do in the gym. If you want to do stuff like this, do some general conditioning work, right? Do on off days, do circuits or end your workout with a circuit. But there are literally endless number of things that are wiser and smarter to increase the hard training impact in your program. You want to get in more work in a program, there's still many better ways to do it than this, right? Can you progress doing antagonistics? Sure, you can. You absolutely can. I can progress on anything. If you give me a workout using only antagonistics, I'm going to progress on it. I'm going to focus on progression. But I can tell you, as somebody that has trained hard for 38 years, and we're talking training hard, right? I think some of the disconnect is some people, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm elevated on some high holy mountain here, but I think the issue is some that are not training hard are just going in doing foo-foo antagonistics. As somebody that has trained hard, excuse my language because I'm about to let loose. When I am fucking done with a hard set on a compound, I don't want to go to another fucking compound. I want to fucking rest, right? So I'm not trying to grab my balls and parade around the room like some know-it-all asshole. I'm just telling you my personal experience. When I am done with a set, with a compound, I need rest. I don't want to be halfway through a bench set going, I'm going to save some energy or whatever for penalties. Screw that, man. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to jump down the floor, catch my breath for like 10 seconds and do as many push-ups as I can. Superset. We got things called the massive curl where you do strict curls and then you just rest just for a couple seconds and then you do cheat curls. This is a progressive superset, if you will, post-fatigue technique. I'm not going to finish curls and do cable tricep extensions. Look, I don't care who advocates it. It's still not the brightest thing to do. I want fatigue to be laser focused on a muscle group, not general fatigue. No, Nicholas says the real advantage to superset is time crunch. But there are still better ways to do that, Nicholas. That's not, and you can do that. Like supersetting exercises is not the best way to cut time in the gym. If you need to cut time in the gym, cut your sets down to 2 and do both for hard, as many safe quality reps as you can, or do rest pause work. That's far better from a hard training standpoint than just maybe one superset is fine. But we're getting into CrossFit stuff. We're limiting our conditioning more than anything. If you're going to do that, push a set hard like on bench and then rest for 15, 20, 25 seconds and do more reps like bulldozer training, like Myo reps, rest pause training. This will increase the average rep intensity, right? Do something that increases the pressure on a specific area rather than taking the pressure off that and focusing it on can I mentally handle doing 2 compounds back to back or my conditioning. I don't like them. I never will like them. And I simply don't believe with all the things you can do with your gym time that there's any room for this nonsense. I don't hate many things. And I surely could work antagonist supersets in, but guys, there's many better ways to spend your time in the gym than them. I do not like them. I do not like them, Sam. I do not like them in a can. Whatever, you know what I'm saying. Since you mentioned frozen food, can you recommend some good brands? Man, I don't know. We just kind of do the frozen pizzas and frozen burritos. I do the red hot burritos. I forget what they are, to be honest with you. We don't overdo it, but like if I'm going to do some junk on Christmas Eve, I'm going to look for some cheap jalapeno poppers or some frozen spicy burritos or something like that. With this lengthened partial rep trend going on, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at how crazy it got. Are we always indirectly doing lengthened? Yes, we are. Like this is like when I heard about the lengthened partial thing, like we're going to do a lengthened partial. I don't know about you, but why wouldn't we just do a lengthened partial and then finish out the rep? Been doing them anyway, right? Been doing them all along. Been doing them all along. All right. Somebody said Alan Thrall advocated Reese. That's true. I'll stand by what I say. I'm not trying to pick a fight with anybody. We're just talking about coaching. I simply think there's far better things you can do in the gym. And certainly if you want to save time, there's far better choices. You guys can decide, right? Dog's still going crazy upstairs. Could moderate butt wink on squats, but yeah. Butt wink, one of the issues I see in coaching is, okay, when on a squat, when you start to go really low, sometimes you run out of room and you get butt wink where your butt curves in, your lower back rounds. To put it simply, my experience is that when I see it when guys try to go too low, guys are usually naturally really good at hitting depth in their squats. And they try to go too low and then they get butt wink. A lot of these guys could come with bringing their squats up a little bit because they're naturally deep already. And yes, you are losing tightness on a squat. You're losing tightness on a squat and it's putting pressure on your lower back. So absolutely. I love Christmas dinners. I feel I once start to indulge, I don't stop. That's fine, man. It's Christmas. Go for it. Could you get away with just deadlifts and rows? No, I wouldn't do that. You want to have some variety in the mix. I mean, deadlifts and dumbbell rows and barbell rows and seated cable rows, that's a good mix. That'd be great on the back. I still want you to have in a vertical pull if you can of some sorts. The classical upright row where you pull the bar towards the chin seems to have disappeared. It hasn't disappeared. Dr. Mike has addressed some of the fallacies, and so has Lyle McDonald. There's some exercises where they got way blown out of proportion. Like it's gonna, like people saying the leg extension is gonna kill you. That's a dog trying to get up this. He's probably trapped on the steps, and my wife's not home. This stuff gets way blown out of proportion. If you do an upright row, you're going to get an impingement. Just paranoia. I don't particularly like the upright row is an okay exercise. It's often misused, but I think, used properly, it can be a good, third or fourth exercise. Let's see, where are we at? How many grams of carbs before workout? Well, you want to make sure you go into a workout not bloated, right? If you have too much in your stomach when you work out, you're making your body choose between using the blood to digest the food or using the blood for your muscles. So it's just going to sit in your stomach anyway, because your body's going to use that blood mostly for your muscles. So you don't want to overbloat. There's no magic grams. You just want to go into a workout feeling ready to go, not hungry, and not with a lot in your stomach. Does that make sense? Is Christmas supposed to be stressful with gift and not doing things right, or I'm a Grinch? No, it's on you, man. I mean, anything, I'm just saying, I'm not telling you to love Christmas. I'm not telling you to love any holiday, but you got to learn to enjoy things. That's, how we process things is on us. And I know certain things can be stressful. Some of us have different family situations and whatnot, so I'm not discounting that, but just relax and enjoy it, man. Merry Christmas. If it wasn't for you to have, I appreciate you, man. I know sometimes I can come off as being an ass, but I love all you guys. Hey, Steve, I've been struggling with clavicle injuries. No, I don't. I would like to learn more, but I'm no doctor. So the only thing I ever suggest is trying to do, exercises that don't aggravate it. But if you need more help, feel free to DM me on Instagram or email me. We'll see what we can do. I found the only real advantage to supersets. Okay, we got that already. I'm over it. As someone who has started in the 80s, have you ever been tempted to try Arnold's 6-day split? I did try it back in 1989 for like 6 months, and I recall it beat me up really bad. It just was hard. I maybe tried it for 3 or 4 months, and it beat me up. All right, more antagonist. Can you explain how DC training saves time? Rest pause training, you don't have the rest. If you do 3 sets DC, you don't have the extended rest in between sets, so it takes a shorter period of time. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you for tuning in. Merry Christmas, Merry Holidays, whatever you're doing. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for tuning in to Massive Iron Live. Tune in for the last Massive Iron Live next Friday. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we are out.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.